Oscars and accolades, gators and gumbo. You are now tuned in to the Disney Holic Show.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Holic Show. That's Jen Diz.
And that's Myke TV.
Today we're checking out the recent Academy Awards show along with an animated film game. Then we sail away with my recent thoughts on Disney cruises after my recent Royal Caribbean cruise. Boy, oh boy. Sometimes, Jen, we're like, what are we going to talk about on the next couple of episodes? And then wham bam, there's like 1,000 things to talk about to spread over a few episodes. So I just got
Wham
back from a
bam.
cruise and I was like, okay, I guess I could talk about that. And then stuff happened over the weekend, and then the Academy Awards happened. And then I started overthinking the cruise. You went on a really cool Adventureland trip. So we have plenty to share today, even next week.
I have like the next three episodes lined up already. We're good to go.
I love
There's
it.
so much
I
to talk
love
about, and who
that.
knows what's going to happen in between all of that. I might have to squish even more in there.
Even more. That's the life of a Disney holic. People say, do you ever run out of anything to talk about?
No,
No,
that's
not
what
at
people
all.
don't get. Anytime somebody says, "How do you keep going back to Disney?" Like, just hand them our podcast. Like, that's how. There's
Right.
so much,
And
so
people are
much.
like, don't you ever get tired of going to Disney?
Mm-mm.
And I have proof that I don't. So this past weekend, I had returned from a cruise, which we'll talk about later. And I thought, oh my God, I need Disney right now. Like I was on a non-branded Disney experience, eating non-Disney
You need to get your
food,
fix.
didn't get my fix, and I needed it so badly. So it was Sunday, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch the Oscars tonight, but I'm hungry. I should treat myself. And you know that moment, like when you get home from a trip, you don't have any groceries or anything, so you kind of have
Yeah,
to go. So of course, a true Disney holic, I thought, well, I have to go eat anyways, so I might as well go to the Grand Floridian buffet. Why not?
obviously.
And it was actually one of the few that was available last minute Sunday for one person, and I had never been to it, at least to my knowledge or my memory. And so it's in Grand Floridian. It's a character buffet, and it's all about wishes. So as soon as I stepped into the Grand Floridian and I saw just the beauty of the lobby, and the guy was playing piano, and he was playing, that like oldie tune from Captain America. Da da da
Aw.
da. My eyes already were watering, and I was like, people don't get it. Like this is it right here. Like, wow. It'll never
It
get old,
hits.
and it hit, and I needed it.
Aw.
Uh, so I want to tell you about this place. So it's at Grand Floridian Park Fair dinner buffet. It was at 4:30, I think, but it
Oh,
was still
wait.
dinner.
Yeah, this you covered this in episode 22.
Oh my God, I knew I went to it
I'm
before
just
at some
kidding.
point.
I'm
Oh
just
my
kidding.
goodness. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. But I
Yeah, it
didn't
could still be
recognize,
true.
yeah, I didn't recognize any of it, especially this magical touch for sure I didn't do. So it is a buffet, and the food was really good, and they had characters, and I didn't know how I felt because I was by myself and I just wanted a chill dinner. Like I said, it was the only one available. But it turns out that there was so much more to the character experience. It was a wishing ceremony, and this takes
It is
place like
very cute.
so cute. I think it's about once an hour, like timing it so that you get at least one during your meal. And so I was seated and provided with this beautiful card. We love a good like stock card paper, like when it's
Oh
good
yeah.
quality and someone thought it through. So it's a nice, thick card, beautifully designed. On the back, it had autographs from some characters like Mirabelle and I think Cinderella and a couple others. Aladdin, I think, was on there. And then on the front side, it said write your wish down, and it came with a little Walt Disney World pencil, said Walt Disney World on the pencil, and you're supposed to write your wish down. And then the server told me, later on, when my make sure I have my wish ready because later on there's going to be a ceremony and there will be some wishing companions to help us. I'm like, okay, what is going on? I'm also hungry. So
You'll
I
just give me food while we're doing
just
all
give me the
this.
food. I did get a drink. I got the cold brew espresso martini. 5 out of 5. I've been on a roll with like trying out different cocktails around Disney World and running into some really good ones. So pretty happy about that. I recently also had the La Cava avocado margarita at Epcot. Delicious, another 5 out of 5. Um, and so the characters came around while I was eating. I picked up some stuff from the buffet. They had really good chicken tikka masala. They also had salmon, which was really good. And then they had everything you'd expect at a buffet. But I thought the quality was really good. I was actually impressed. Again, especially coming from a Royal Caribbean buffet every day. I went to this and yeah, it was delicious. And then you would have loved the desserts. They were so pretty and like the perfect size. Like there was one dessert that was the size of the last bone of my pinky. It was that small.
Okay.
It was
I
like
do love that.
it was perfect. I was like, I'm not gonna get any dessert. Then I saw how small they were. That was the smallest. There was ones like cupcake size. But I just love that. It's like a little on my mouth,
Yep.
and they were all
Just a little nice
pretty
sweet.
little sweet. They all had like gold dust on it. So it was going with this wishing theme. And then all around the restaurant on the like the wall above, they had large painted portraits of different wishing characters. So there'd be like Aladdin, there was Rapunzel, there was of course Asha from the
I was gonna
movie
say, is this
Wish.
tied into the movie Wish?
It was not, thankfully. Thank God. Whoops. No, it was just wishing in general. Um, so yeah, get my food. The food was good, and then all of a sudden, that moment where you know something's gonna happen, like the lights dim, and you hear like, I was like, okay, something's gonna happen. And the wishing companions were called out, and I think in my seating, I had Mirabelle, Cinderella, I had Aladdin, and ooh, I forgot. There was at least one more. I know there was. It'll come to me. So they were there, and then we all had to take the wish we wrote down and raise it high up in the air. There were instructions. So there was like a voiceover from Guess Who? Jiminy Cricket
Very
telling us what
cute.
we should do and put our hands up
Proper.
in the air and wave it around. And then the wishing companions came around and did their twirls and sparkling things and a lot of light stuff happening. And then they said, "Okay, we got it. We got your wish, and we hope it comes true." So then you eat and you do your thing, and then they come around to give you individual table attention when it's your turn. So I looked up and Aladdin was there. I'm like eating my food, and he's right there, so sweet. And we had a whole conversation. You know how it can get awkward when you're by yourself as an adult?
Yeah.
Yeah. And at this point, I'm realizing I'm very much older now than these cast members. So, like, this Aladdin looked like he was probably like in his 20s cast member. But here's the reason why we love Disney. Like, he was full character, no judgment. He could tell, I'm sure he could tell how excited I was. So we just had like
No.
a fun conversation about genie and wishes. And for some reason, the color blue came up, and we were talking about the color of the genie. He said I can call him Al if I want, because I was like, do I call you Aladdin
No.
or Prince Ali? Because he was in his Prince Ali outfit. He's like,
Oh.
you can call me Al. Oh, it was just like the movie. So cute.
Very cute.
And then he
He's like probably inside. He's like, "Ugh, nailed it!" Right?
nailed it,
He's
nailed
like,
it.
"Oh, I got to use that line." Oh, that's so good.
Totally. And then we took a selfie, so I'll be posting those later. So we took a selfie, and then Cinderella came by, and she was, just classic Disney princess, like twirling with her blue. She has the smile on, her hair up, and we were talking about wishes and castles. I think we didn't have as much as a deep conversation. I think for some reason she's so famous, I get more nervous around people like Cinderella, if that makes sense. And then I
That's
remembered who
funny.
the other person was. Princess Tiana came by in her new Bayou Adventure outfit.
Oh, very cute, very
Very
cute.
cute. So
She's the
we were
bee's
talking.
knees.
She's the bee's knees. So we had a whole conversation about fashion and her outfit and Yuvadora, which I think is her mom's name, because I was wearing a pass holder shirt. I think it was blue and purple. And she was saying that she would love her mom to make a new version of her Bayou costume with these colors that I'm wearing. And she's going to go tell her mom, who's the
Ooh,
best seamstress
that's two people bringing up colors. You must have been
yeah,
wearing, like, your shirt must have been saying something that day for
it was
sure.
like pass holder had figment and it was blue. I think that's what it was. Yeah. Festival of the Arts. Um, so she was really cute. And then a Disney moment happened.
Uh-oh.
And I know I was texting her as this happened. So Mirabelle, I will say it with the full accent. Mirabelle, she came to my table. Um, and it was just I thought it was just gonna be the usual thing. For some reason, I decided to get up instead of staying in my seat because I was like at a buffet, not a buffet, a booth. So I decided to like get up and be eye level with her. For the rest of
Right.
them, I stayed seated until it was time to take the picture. For whatever reason, I was compelled to stand up, and so we started having like a deep conversation. She's like, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. I'm happy to be here. And I guess Mirabelle is the most human out of the other ones. Like she kind of
Yeah.
talks normal. I'm like doing the hand movements. She does her hand movement. She sticks her leg out. And then she was the only one who asked what I wished for. And
Hmm.
I guess whatever, I'll let it all out here on the podcast.
Oh.
So I had wrote something along the lines of, I wish that Jerry and I will be fulfilled and happy in the next chapter of our lives, even though we're going to be, living separate lives. And so she asked me what the wish is, and I was like, girl, you're going to make me cry. Do you want me to tell you? And she didn't say anything, I don't think. She paused and then I just word vomited and was telling her everything that was happening. I was like, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. And she was just so sweet.
Oh.
She was like, you know what? Like familia is important. And the way that your perspective on this is just so beautiful. You're seeing this as another chapter of your story instead of something bad. Um, and so like, oh my God, it was so emotional. And then she did the usual thing. She was like, do you want to take a portrait with me or whatever? So we did a selfie. And then she said, oh, this is where I was gonna live. She said, can I give you a hug, friend?
Oh.
And I think she was the only one who hugged me. Again, because I was like standing up through the whole interaction. And then she gave me the most authentic hug. Like you could tell
Oh.
it was both um the cast member and Mirabelle at the same time, somehow, magically.
That's
Ugh,
you're just like literally making me
yeah,
cry right now.
so unexpected. I thought I was just going to dinner for Pete's sake. But yeah, it was such a beautiful moment. And just, as an
Oh.
adult solo, you can still have these moments and you don't have to be a kid. And, especially if you feel like being comfortable and vulnerable and like telling even just a cast member. If you're at a hotel, you talk to a cast member and you tell them a little bit about your life, usually they're really good at holding a conversation.
It feels like a really safe space, right? I think
Yeah.
that's like one of the biggest reasons I think people don't really catch on to right away, but that's one of the biggest reasons we all love it so much is such a safe space for everyone, really.
Yeah. To tell a complete stranger this random thing, like I really felt safe. I felt like that was Mirabelle and she wanted to hear it, and I could tell the cast member was into it. And then I was one of the very few people I was looking around. I guess you could take the wish card home. You're probably supposed to because it's so nice. But I left it because I
Hmm.
was like, I really want this wish to come true. So I'm gonna leave it here with the
Aw.
wishing fairies and everybody. So it was really great. And then I also had a fun Disney math moment. So, we say like girl math.
Disney math,
Sometimes there's
yes.
Disney math too, because I was running. I by the time I pulled up to the Grand Floridian vehicle entrance, I had to check in within like 5 minutes for the reservation. And they're doing some construction, so they're like, okay, I'll give you a little pass for your dash, but you have to park across the street by the golf course. There's a shuttle that will take you, or a 15-minute walk. I was like, what? And then he's like, or you could do valet, but it's just regular price. It's for the day, it's $42. And I thought, I just got to do it, whatever, because otherwise I'm going to get canceled and there's no more
Yeah.
things left. So I was like, whatever, treat yourself. I'm already treating myself. So I went up, got the valet ticket, which is $42. But then my Disney math, I did a bunch of shopping in the Grand Floridian. I went to White Basin and got all these really beautiful smelling shower bombs and soaps. I went to one of the gift shops and got a couple of new shirts that I wanted and this really nice like towel shawl that's so soft and a really nice cocktail glass that has Grand Floridian on it. It's like gold, really pretty. And then there was the dinner itself. So I got 20% off on some things and 10% on some others. My total savings for that one day was $60,
Yeah,
right?
you made $20
I
taking out of your.
exactly. Thank you very much, Disney math. So by the time I went to go pay for my $42 parking, I was like, whatever. I already got a discount. So I felt okay about it. But I'll post more of that on Instagram, like full review of the food and how much that breakdown costs, because I think the Disney math is pretty fun to do when you want to splurge but not feel bad. It's a good way to look at it.
That is a really good way to look at it. And that's big savings. That's what I always think of when I'm like deciding if I need to upgrade my pass or not. It's like, well, I'll get all this extra savings off of discount and free parking, and it's like it'll pay itself off in like a week now that I live
Seriously.
here. So,
It really does. It really does help. I also recently found out that if you park at the parks and you already have parking through your hotel stay or DVC or annual pass, you could pay just the difference if you want preferred parking, depending on
oh,
what it
I didn't
is
know
that
that.
day. Yeah, I just found that out like a couple days ago. So I was at Epcot. It
That's
was still too
nice.
expensive. I think it would have been 20 for the upgrade, which means they were charging like 45. So I didn't use it, but it was nice to know, especially if you're with people and you're like treating them into a day at the park or people that don't
Your
have that
regular
much time.
parking's only $25.
I think 40. Oh, I see what you mean. The non-preferred? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so. Something
that was
like
just
that.
35.
Ooh, but they surge it. So she told me just ask every
Oh, they
time.
do? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. They have like tiered or whatever it's called pricing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's like,
Crazy.
sometimes the difference goes down to like 12, sometimes it goes up to 25. That day it was 20.
Oh, for the preferred. Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy times at Disney.
Aw,
Okay.
that's so sweet though. And it sounds like Mirabelle handled it really well. Also, like
She did. I
being
did put her in a
that's
weird situation.
well, no, no, no. It's more like she has to juggle being a human in like
Yeah.
this world and this time
Mm,
and whatever your life problems that you're handing over to her mixed with being Mirabelle. Like that's a whole lot of layers
wow.
to like manipulate all at the same time. But it sounds like she did a really good job. So that was super, super cute. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, she did. That's a lot of improv. And I don't think I can even give a cast compliment because we don't know their names. Curious
Oh
about that. How
yeah.
do you do
You
that?
could probably put, I've done that before where like I put like, oh, Peter Pan, that was in the 3 p.m. Magic Happen show or whatever.
Okay.
It'll
And
be
then they can
like
find them from there.
Mirabelle who worked at around 7 p.m. this day at this restaurant.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that dinner was just leading up to me coming home and vegging out and watching the Academy Awards, aka the
Ooh.
Oscars. And you know, depending on the year, there's movies or actors or actresses that I'm like rooting for. This year, obviously for me, I was hoping Wicked would win a bunch of stuff, but really anything really goes for this one. There wasn't anything that I was like, oh my God, I'll hate if this wins or
Wait,
loses.
can I ask
Yeah,
you a question?
yeah.
Did this start earlier than regular?
No, it's usually the
They
end of
always start at,
February.
no, I mean like
Oh,
time-wise.
oh,
Because it was at 4 p.m., which felt super weird. And I
7
thought for sure that was
Eastern
going to be
usually.
like red carpet only or something at 4, but it was the whole show started at 4.
Oh yeah, 7 usually because if they plug in 4 hours for it, that's already yeah, it ended here at like 10:45. 7 to 8 to
Yeah,
9.
maybe. I
Yeah.
guess so.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people were saying it too that it was really early. And I'm like, I don't know. You have to
It's
have
the
the East
huge. It's
Coasters
always
in
daytime in
too.
LA during
Yeah.
the red carpet. Yep. All right. So before we talk about the Academy Awards, I thought we would celebrate the fact that only this millennium, starting in 2001, the Academy decided to add a category for animated films. Da-da-da.
Hmm.
And so we're going to play a game about which Disney movies, properties, Pixar, or whatever, is an Academy Award winner. And
Ooh, okay.
you have to say yes or no.
Okay, all right.
Here we go. Okay, let's
Listeners, play
start with
along.
listeners play along.
You can laugh at
I'm
how many
gonna
I get wrong.
I'm gonna hop all over the place. I'm gonna go from the 2020s to the aughts and back. So I'm gonna start with something kind of recent.
Okay.
Toy Story 4. So that's Pixar Studios Toy Story Part 4.
I This is hard because you have to also take into consideration what else was animated films of the year. Could be like hardly anything
Ooh.
good. But Toy Story 4, I don't think did that great in general in comparison. So I'm gonna say no.
It won the Academy Award for Best
Fudge,
Animated Film.
seriously?
Yeah, which is it's an interesting one for us to start with this game because I'm always fascinated about sequels and how sequels are treated by the prestigious people of the Academy. But if you look in the past, like things like Lord of the Rings Part 3 had won. There's been plenty of sequels that have won certain categories. Um, Dune 2 Part 2 was up for Best Picture this year. It didn't win, but it was up. So I was like, okay, I guess sequels are fair game. So there's that.
Yeah. Can I
Okay,
do a
this
quick
one.
interruption?
Yeah.
I hope you guys can hear it on the recording. I don't think you will, but there's an ice cream truck going by my apartment complex before, and it's playing Small World.
No
That is
way.
such a locals thing, right?
I
None
don't
of my
think
ice
I've
cream
ever
trucks in the
heard.
Bay Area played Small World.
They're usually just like that clown song
Yeah.
from Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Do, do,
Isn't
do,
that
do,
so
do, do,
weird?
do, do.
I just heard it and I was like, what?
That's very cute. That's a Orange County local
Yeah.
amazing thing that you get to experience. Okay, so this
Anyways,
next
carry
one
on.
is actually Disney Studios in collaboration with Marvel, but it's a Disney Studios animated film. It has a number in it, but it is not a sequel. It is Big Hero 6 back
Oh
in
yeah.
2014.
Um, man, I'm gonna say no again.
This won the Academy Award
Shoot!
2014. It won. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Failing so hard. Okay. That's
Um,
awesome.
Here's another Pixar one. Um, Elemental. That's pretty
No,
recent, 2023. Yikes. Why you say that?
no. I would
Oh,
have remembered that was recent, like
okay.
super recent.
You got it. You got it correct.
Yeah.
In
Sorry,
fact,
Elemental, but
there was some really crazy competition
it wasn't a
that year,
win for them. It was a
2023.
win for me. Sorry,
They're up
carry on.
against one of very few that happen anymore, a Miyazaki film, which
Oh,
was
shoot.
The
Which
Boy and the
one?
Heron. The
Oh,
Boy and
yeah,
the
yeah.
Heron. Yeah, so that one won. It was also up against another one that I think we both loved animated wise, which was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, so sequel.
Oh, yeah.
So big big nominees there. So let's talk about Luca, Pixar's Luca.
Luca.
I still haven't
I'm gonna
seen
say
it.
no again. Huh?
I still haven't seen it.
Oh, shame.
Whoops,
It's
Pixar.
cute.
You said no? Okay. I'm gonna hold on that. Raya and the Last Dragon, Disney Studios.
Why are you gonna hold on that? I'm gonna say yes on Raya.
Ooh, okay, and then I'm gonna have one more.
Okay.
Encanto.
Yes on Encanto.
Okay, so those three were on the same category, 2021.
Oh, shoot.
Yep.
Okay, hold
And
on.
then there was two others that were,
It has to be
not
Encanto.
Disney. You're right. It was Encanto.
Yeah.
That one won. Wow. So
What were the other
sometimes
two?
they're competing against themselves. I'm not familiar with them. Flea, Flee, not the bug. And then
Okay.
another one called The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Oh.
But
Yeah, the
shout
one
out
this year
to
was, oh, never mind. It might be part of the
nope.
test. Carry on.
Just say it if you remember the name of it.
It was Flow, right?
It was Flow. So
I haven't seen
definitely
it,
shout
and I
out
want
to
to.
independent animated studios out there. This was one of
Yeah.
them that won for Flow, and they had a really nice speech where they talked about that. Which I know it must be hard to go against these huge giants like Disney and Pixar.
And
Um,
Inside Out 2 was like a mega hit. So like I'm
yeah.
surprised that they didn't win. Like really
And
surprised.
there was another shoe-in that people thought was going to win this year, which is called The Wild Robot.
Yeah.
I
I
I
saw
haven't seen
those
that
two
yet.
against and I was like, Flow, what the heck is Flow? I still haven't
Fluff.
seen Wild Robot either. I want to really bad, but I feel
It's
like I
done
missed
by
it in the
Chris
theater.
Sanders. So Chris Sanders, who did Wild Robots, not Disney, it's not Pixar. Chris Sanders did Lilo and Stitch for Disney back in 2002.
Aw,
So
cute.
there's a little bit
Wow,
of
it's
a
so different too, the
connection.
style. Like, but he's not
Yep.
the animator director, right? But still crazy.
Okay, so let's talk about Cars. Pixar's Cars.
Oh, just that. Okay. Um,
Part one. Yeah, the OG.
I'm gonna say yes.
Cars did not win
Oh,
in
shoot.
2006. It was actually up against two other movies that I thought were good in 2006. Happy Feet and Monster House. Do you remember
Okay.
any of those two?
I've not seen them, but I know what they are.
Okay. Monster House was cool. It was really like spooky, and I think it was Robert Zemeckis involved, so it had that Spielberg feel to it. And then Happy Feet, I remember being unexpectedly entertained by it. It's just like a joyful movie, has a lot of
Aw.
singing and cute penguins, but Happy Feet won in
I know
2006.
one of the performers in Happy Feet in
Oh,
person. And I
who?
still he's a jungle MC.
Oh,
So
that's
bringing
so
it back to
cool.
my raver roots, MC Jamalski. Yep.
Wow. All right. So next we have The Incredibles. So this is Pixar.
Yes.
Correct. It did
Okay.
win in 2004. It won. Finding Nemo, another Pixar.
I'm gonna say yes for that one too.
You are correct. That also won in
Yeah, those felt like
2003.
pretty big knockout of the park ones, right?
Brother Bear by Disney Studios.
Oof. Still haven't seen that either. I'm gonna say no.
You are correct. It was up against Finding Nemo.
Oh, welcome to our family
Leave
time. It's like the
time.
only thing I know of that
That's all
movie
I
is the
know from
parade
that.
music.
Lilo and Stitch. We just talked about Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, what year was Lilo and Stitch?
2002.
Happy to be time. I'm gonna say, ooh, yes.
Which, by the way, it was in 2002, it was considered such a beautifully animated film. They used a lot of watercolors, which was rare, and it was
Sometimes it's hard to
also
remember back.
a lot of hand drawn was going away and going into computer. So this was kind of a risk for Disney to take. Unfortunately, it did not win
Ah,
in 2002. It was up against Treasure Planet, which also didn't win, Disney Studios.
ouch.
And here we are with another Miyazaki film. There's no way you could beat Spirited Away, which came out
Oh
in
my God.
2002.
Wait, Spirited Away was in 2002.
That
It seems
long.
like older for some
Oh,
reason.
really? Yeah,
I
2002.
feel like I've watched that since I was a teenager. I guess not.
And it
But I
was
guess it's
only
kind of
the
close.
second time they had this category. It's 2002.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome. Okay,
yeah,
that movie was so good.
so good.
So, yeah.
So good.
Okay.
And then I'm still hopping around. So 2001, I'm going to tell you what the categories were. So remember, they created this whole category because of films like Toy Story 1, because of films like Beauty and the Beast, where they didn't have any place to go other than Best Picture. So they had this category 2001. It was Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, Monsters Inc., Pixar Studios, and Shrek, DreamWorks Animation Studios. Just three.
So I have to pick which one won out of
Which
those
one
three.
won the very first 2001
What was the
animated
second
picture?
option? Monsters Inc.
Monsters Inc.,
I'm gonna
Jimmy
say Monsters
Neutron.
Inc.
Monsters Inc., Pixar did not win. Shrek
Yeah.
won,
Oh, ouch.
which is so funny because Shrek especially part one, its whole shtick was making fun of Disney and all that stuff. And for it to win after this category was pretty much created for Disney. Hilarious.
That is
Uh,
funny.
and Monsters Inc. was really good, but
Yeah.
I like both of them, but I do remember Shrek being just so different at the time, and like it was one of the first that was like pop culture relevant and like talked about what was going on, which
Oh, okay.
now we see everywhere, but at that
Right.
time it was crazy.
Yeah, I thought
Um,
Shrek 2 was the one that got all the
even more.
attention. But yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's chatter on the internet right now about the new Shrek trailer. I don't even know what number it is. Five, six.
I didn't even know they had more
Yeah.
than the two.
It's like years and years later, and people are not happy with the animation style, but that is for another conversation.
Oh yeah, you sent
Um,
me something with Donkey about the trailer. Anyway,
yeah,
carry
there's
on.
something weird about it. Okay, let's talk about Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph,
Okay.
2012.
Um, I'm gonna say no.
You are correct. It did not win. How about Brave? Pixar's Brave.
Yes.
It won, correct, and it was up against Wreck-It Ralph. Brave won.
Oh,
Brave won that
sorry,
year.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Frozen.
Oh, yes. I actually hope it did it. It'd be kind of funny. Did it not?
It did. It
I
did.
did. Okay.
2013. It won.
I'm here for the
Um,
underdogs. That would be cool if it didn't win and then it became like massive a year later or something.
like
But no,
later
I think it
on,
was
right?
pretty much out the before it was. Actually, no, that movie was so popular before it was even out. I think that was one of the first things that annoyed me about that movie was everybody already sporting all the merch. I'm like, you don't even know if you like the movie yet. Why are you buying so much merch?
Cute. It was cute, I guess. Olaf, maybe. I don't know. That reminds me of being obsessed with BB-8, and I was like, I don't really know who he is, but he's so cute, and I want all the toys.
He is cute.
How about Zootopia?
Ooh. What year was that?
This was 2016.
Um, I'm gonna
Do you want me to tell you
say
who it was up against?
sure.
That's within Disney. So it was two Disney Studios films in one year. Zootopia versus Moana.
Oh no, Moana won.
Zootopia took the award home. What?
Really?
Right?
Over Moana?
Yeah, I was surprised to see that also.
Wow.
Pretty crazy.
We were just talking about Zootopia and like that was a really fun movie. We should watch it again.
It
It's a
is.
really
Yeah,
good one.
it's really good. Well animated, great voice actors. Jason Bateman as Nick Wilde. All right. There was a lot actually of times where Disney or one of their studios were up against each other. So for these last couple, I'm going to talk about those. So 2008, you had Bolt, which is Disney Studios, versus Pixar's Wall-E. You also had Kung Fu Panda, which was the competitor DreamWorks that year, and those were the only nominees in 2008.
Shoot, I have to pick which one won. I
Yeah.
want to say Wally won because it's my favorite out of the three. Um, Definitely not Bolt.
Oh,
Sorry, Bolt. But Wally was so beautiful. But Kung Fu Panda, I know, was really popular for whatever reason. Families, I don't know.
yeah.
Um, I'm gonna say Kung Fu Panda and hope that I'm
Wall-E.
wrong.
Yep.
It was
It
Wally?
was Wall-E. Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
that makes me happy, even though I was wrong.
same. I would have hoped that one because the first half was like a love letter to old classic romance movies and
Yeah, it
silent
was so
film and
good.
so good. Andrew Stanton directed that one. Yeah, so that one won. And then the following year, 2009, we had the return of traditional Disney animation, The Princess and the Frog versus Pixar's Up.
Oh, shoot. I feel like Princess and the Frog didn't get the like the appreciation for the hand drawn like we all wanted
Sure.
it to. So I'm gonna say Up just for that reason, but also Up was really good.
You are correct. It was Up. Ooh, that was, yeah, another one. Look, Pixar peak are those times when they do movies that are so out there, like Wall-E, like Up, even Inside Out 1. That's the Pixar I love and I miss. But that was a tough year in 2009. That's one of the first where there were more than three nominees. It was up against Coraline, which was really cool,
Yeah.
and Fantastic Mr. Fox, which was like the
Ooh, two stop
adult one.
motion
Yeah,
animations?
Wes Anderson, like that was an interesting one.
Shoot.
And then something called The Secret of Kells, which I'm just not familiar
Hmm.
with that particular one.
Wow.
But yeah, hope that got us warmed up for the Academy Awards quick recap that I want to do.
I
But
love it.
um,
That was great. I did not
so
do
so
well,
fun.
but some of the movies didn't either.
And now I feel like we need to watch that movie Flow because I think it's about a cat.
Definitely. Yeah, I know. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this looks cute already. It also looked like really, like you said, is independent, so indie film. Um,
Animation
Probably a
was
lot of
different.
feels. Like it's gonna have a lot of feels, I feel like.
Yeah. I
Um,
think it
but yeah.
is, there's no dialogue, I think. And it's also from the country of Latvia, which was the first time they've won an Oscar in that country in general.
Hold
So
on.
kudos to that.
I don't want to, I don't think this is on your list. But was this the one where the guy was reading because English is not his first
Okay.
language?
Okay, Rizal, there were so many weird ones last night. This, I believe, is the one. It was the guy and his wife, and they kept repeating what was on the
And he
paper, and
ripped that paper out of her hand and said, "No,
and then he
I'll
just
do
repeated
it."
what she already did.
It was so rude. I
So
was like,
rude.
first of
Yeah.
all, she was doing just fine because you repeated it and we all got to hear that she was doing just fine. It was very like
And I
very
think it was like on a phone, so they kept scrolling the notepad around. I
yeah,
just thought, like, I imagine like you and I up there, like trying to co-host something, and we're messing with the same document at the same time. Oh my God, that would be
scrambling.
my worst nightmare.
It was such a gross moment though of like the man,
Yeah,
you know,
the way he
controlling the
handled
woman
it.
thing. I was like, oh man, this is not cute for you right now on the
And like there
stage.
were some messy acceptance speeches. But I want to say I'm 95% sure that was the right one. It was the
Okay.
Latvia one, yeah. Um, and so oh, I had one more like bonus question. So it was in one of the answers we had said, but when was the last time a Disney movie, whether it was Pixar or whatever, won an Academy Award for Best Animated Film? It was one of the ones we talked about.
2023.
Close, 22 Encanto. That
Oh,
was the last time they
damn
won. And,
it.
they are the ones that you're always up against, so they need to figure that out.
Yep.
Um, so another part about the Oscars that I love are the trailers and commercials. So there's some stuff there. Um, like I said, nothing really stood out to me in terms of like the winners that we really need to talk about. But they did play some interesting commercials, and the Oscars were ABC. So they were hosted by Disney, technically broadcasted by. So you could also watch it on Hulu. That's how I watched it live streaming. It was one of the first times or fastest records that the Oscars had sold out the commercial inventory. So
Oh.
I think a lot of people were like into it. Um,
Hmm.
it did open with, of course, I'm going to bring it up. It opened with a performance from Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, but it was such a beautiful performance, and it wasn't specific to any one award. It was starting the show with I Heart LA and just kind of more love for the community after the wildfires and all of the stuff that needs to now happen to recover after the wildfires. And so there was this beautiful tribute montage of Hollywood like on the screen, and then all this smoke came at the end when it said I love LA. And so it looked like black smoke, like kind of scary. And then, oh my God,
Yeah.
I have goosebumps. And then a rainbow formed. Ariana walks out of the smoke in the most gorgeous gown to sing Somewhere Over the
A
Rainbow.
red ruby gown,
Red
even.
ruby gown. So it wasn't even a Wicked song. It was just a classic Hollywood song. It was Wizard of Oz, the old school. And it just went so well with that montage. I was just like, wow, whoever produced this, like, okay, genius.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were just going to go straight into singing like Wicked or something. So I was like, wow, okay. And I was like, is this it? Is Cynthia going to come out? If this was just it, I was happy. I was like, okay, great. Cynthia comes out. She sings a rendition of Home, which is from The Wiz. the Broadway adaptation of The Wizard of Oz from a while back. And then they joined hands together and sang Defying Gravity, which is the song everyone was waiting for. And there was this moment where Ariana kissed Cynthia's hand and walked away to let Cynthia have the second half of the song, which is really all Elphaba's song. And that was just like such a beautiful moment of like, the people keep saying like holding space, but seeing two women who, in pop culture, usually they're pitted against each other. Like that would be much more fun for the media. And no one's known what to do with it because they love each other so much throughout this whole press tour.
Aw.
Cynthia and Ari are just like the best of friends.
Yeah, they're super
So
cute.
sweet. And it feels authentic. I'm buying it. And so it was just a beautiful way to start it off. And then Conan O'Brien was the host, and I thought he did a really great job. Hire him again. I would watch him host anything. He did a nice blend of comedy, but also some serious things without taking evil jabs at celebrities, which is also funny, but I don't think we needed that night on Sunday night, especially after the wildfire thing. So yeah, kudos to Conan. I thought that was really good. Wicked did win for some things that I hope they would win for, which was like costume design and production design. And there was just a lot of Wizard of Oz representation. So they celebrated the Wiz, which was the movie adaptation of the Broadway adaptation of The Wizard of Oz, The Wiz. Wow.
Right.
And so Queen
It's a lot of
Latifah,
layers.
a lot of layers. Queen Latifah came out and she's such more than a rapper. She's a singer, she's a Broadway singer. She was nominated for her role in Chicago, but she came out and did Get Down the Road, or is it Ease on Down the Road? So they
That
did a
was the
whole
Quincy
number.
Jones part,
Quincy
right?
Jones tribute. Yeah. And guess who presented that? These are royalty. Whoopi
Oh, I
Goldberg
remember this. I
and
did see this
Oprah
part.
Winfrey. Yeah. So Oprah and Whoopi were actually both in the Color Purple movie. And Quincy Jones put that whole thing together. So yeah, I just thought it was cool. Like these little things that weren't necessarily the awards themselves. They were just really nice tributes and performances.
It was good.
I do want to give a heads up because I did go to the Wicked experience at Universal Studios, and I'm going to post the videos of that. I was very, very impressed with that. Um,
Oh, good. Good. What do you think about them leaving Quincy Jones out of the in memoriam? Do you think it was because they had the whole tribute for him coming later?
I think so. I think that
Yeah.
it would have been implied that that's like he got the crown memoriam and then the others.
Yeah.
But I did hear they left some people out.
They left Michelle, whatever her last name is,
Michelle
I can't remember.
Trachtenberg, who
But they put
the
in the other guy. What's his name? I can't remember these people who just passed.
Gene Hackman
Yes,
died.
thank you.
I think the same day as Michelle.
Yeah.
And they were able to get him in there. I don't know. I was looking at some subreddits and I do agree they should put them all in there, but she was more of a television star, which is giving me Golden Globes Emmys,
Okay.
where
So
Gene
maybe she
Hackman is
should be in
movie.
the Golden Glo wait, not
Golden
Golden.
Globes
What's it
or
called?
Emmys, one of those two.
Emmys. There we
Yeah.
go.
But she was in a couple movies. So I don't know how they
Mhm.
decide that. What's funny is you and
Yeah.
I, with our business operations brains, we are forced to do things like this at our work. Like, who do we include in this slide deck? Did
Yeah.
this get
Yeah.
person get promoted or was that not a promotion? Should we talk about birthdays and anniversaries? How stressful that must be to do that. And they definitely put a lot of people every time I see at least 50% are unknowns, people behind the scenes, which is really nice. It'll be like a screenwriter or a Foley
Yeah.
artist. So I don't think there was ever an intent to leave anybody out, but man, yeah, that's gonna get you. I think every time someone's gonna be left out.
Yeah, I
Lips.
know. I feel like if you leave out if there's two big ones that are in the news on the same day that just happened, you have to put them both. That
Like
was probably
might
the
as
weirdest one.
well, right? Just
Yeah.
might as it won't hurt as much it would if someone complains about it.
Yeah.
I feel like there was some other big ones too that I read that were missed, and I was like, what?
Oh
Really?
shoot.
So
Wonder
um
how they choose it.
the I did get to watch commercials because I was watching it live. And they played a commercial. This is Disney using their own airtime. I love it. For Andor season 2 on Disney Plus. I would say the trailer looked very prestigious. It was showing all the things about what the critics thought about season one, and then it went into like a sort of a modern rock music overlay that still stayed epic. And it made me
Okay.
think, okay, I guess I gotta finish watching season one to watch
I
this.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet myself, but I have heard everyone getting really, really excited about it. So evidently it hit home for the Andor fans out there. I am also an Andor fan, but not at the level of the people that were excited. So that made me happy. Like, okay,
There you go.
they
Yeah.
like it. Probably should get excited.
Check out the season two trailer. Let us know what you think.
I will
I
have to.
it did make me want to go and watch and finish season one, but I saw like some of the images I remember of like the Death Star being built just reminded me why I don't care about this series because it's like, it's just gonna lead up to Cassius, is his name?
Cassian.
Cassian dying, trying to do the stuff that happened in Rogue One. So it is what it is.
Wait,
I'm
but
still
did
gonna
you
watch it.
like Rogue One?
I loved Rogue One.
So
Did I
like,
need
why
to
wouldn't
know
you
the
like Andor
backstory about
then?
the soldiers? I didn't need to know the backstory about the soldiers in in 15 hours versus a 2 hour Rogue One movie. But yeah, I
Okay,
really did like
fine.
Rogue One. But
Fine.
I think a lot of people thought about Star Wars Episode One, Two, and Three in that way, which turned out to be
Yeah,
great films, even though we knew where it was heading. We knew Homeboy is going to turn into Darth Vader, but we didn't
right.
know how or, what relationships would form along the way. So,
Actually, I'm trying to remember, did we know who
yes,
Anakin
the
was?
teaser poster, remember, was the shadow of Darth Vader, and then they had the little boy on
They
Tatooine.
messed it up with merch again. They've done that a few times in Star Wars.
But everyone knew already that Anakin was,
They knew his name
yeah,
as
yeah,
Anakin. I couldn't
yeah,
remember. I can't
yeah.
remember. Like, was it
Um,
just Darth Vader or was it Anakin? I can't. So, okay, we knew then.
we knew. Um, they also showed, what was I gonna say? Oh, Alien Earth. So I'm excited about this one. This is Hulu
Another alien
Disney.
already. I haven't seen
Um,
Romulus yet.
oh my gosh, you gotta watch Romulus. Really good horror movie, horror sci-fi, back to its roots. But Alien Earth is going to be a series on Hulu/Disney Plus. And they showed two commercials for this, mostly teasers. It looks really cool. I think it's the first time we're ever going to have a xenomorph get to Earth or get close to Earth. It sounds like that's what they're talking about. And this takes place, I think, a little bit before some of the movies that we've seen, but we'll find out more. It's kind of mysterious. But the reason why I wanted to bring it up was because at South by Southwest this year, at that festival in Texas, they have created this huge immersive experience, and I almost want to go to the festival just to see it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's supposed to like get you into the headspace of what it's going to be like in that show, and it probably is a little bit scary and sci-fi. It seems real cool, and we love an immersive experience.
We do. We do.
But yeah, that kind of wraps the Oscars.
Okay.
And speaking of immersive experiences, I wanted to share my thoughts on this recent vacation I took last week
Okay.
on Royal Caribbean and
I'm excited
why
for this.
you and I need to hurry up and book the Disney Treasure
I
cruise. We need to get on that ship. Okay. So
know.
I was on Royal Caribbean. It's called Brilliance of the Seas. Now, for context, it was a charter. And what that means is sometimes companies will charter out an entire ship or part of the ship. In this case, they took the entire ship and it was an LGBTQ cruise. And that company is called Vakaya. There's a lot of groups out there like that. There's some called Atlantis, RSVP, but Vakaya is supposed to be known for like their inclusivity in having the whole spectrum of LGBT and not just like gay men circuit parties, which some of the other ones are known for, but also not bad if that's what you're looking for.
Right.
So we went on this, which was nice. I went with some gay cousins, some friends, and then even a straight woman. So that just shows this one is definitely pretty inclusive. But when I was thinking about how I'm going to rate this adventure, I realized I had to separate the two because the ship is the ship. And Vakaya chose that ship, but they could have chose Virgin, they could have chose Norwegian, and they have in the past. They'll take different ships out depending on how many people are registering. So I have a review of the ship and then a review of the
Okay.
actual experience because
Okay. Okay.
the this Vakaya charter, they're the ones who create the itinerary. So they have their own shows, they have their own activities. It's not what you would normally get on a Royal Caribbean. But the ship itself,
Got it.
holy moly, 1 out of 5. It's
Oh
it was like the worst
no.
cruise ship I've ever been on. And Royal Caribbean is
Oh my
not
gosh.
Royal Caribbean is like moderate. It's not like it's Value or Carnival. No offense to Carnival cruisers out there. But and the only reason why it even got 1 star instead of 0 is because the staff were awesome and it's not their fault. They just go from ship to ship on their contracts. And you've seen it firsthand, like cruise ship people, staff, and I would say across all cruise lines are usually really amazing people. And they do everything they can to make it a great experience, but you can't do
Right.
anything about the ship
They
itself.
become our best friends.
Best
And
friends.
we feel like we're in they're there for us.
Yeah, and it's so sad to say goodbye and all that. But this ship, it was old. I don't have the stats in front of me. I think it was like at least 25 years old. There was I think a renovation in like 2017, which is still about 8 years ago. But this ship felt like I was on the Titanic after it was pulled out of the water.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what is going on? The cabin was dirty. It was outdated. There was like maybe 2 plugs in the whole thing for my cousin and I to share with all of our
Oh my
devices. Yeah.
God.
All the decor and the carpet around the ship looked so dated and gross. And at one point there were like we'd be eating in the buffet, which is called Windjammer. So that was like our cabanas. Remember cabanas from
Yeah.
fantasy? So we had Windjammer on the Royal Caribbean. So that's where we spent a lot of time eating, of course. But they have in these big dining buffets like beautiful wall to ceiling glass of the ocean. You could just see it going by. Most of it was cracked and had blue tape holding the cracks, and it was always like in X's, like it looked like a blue X. And as the 7 nights went by, more and more blue tape were showing up.
Wait a second. That's hella scary.
It's so scary. And like we looked it up, or like we Googled it. We had the data package, by the way, and it said, yeah, this is often used to hold glass together if you think it's gonna break, so that it's not even if it breaks, it's when it does break, it doesn't shatter, it just holds in
Wait a
place.
second. So, wait, you said you could see the water going by. Is this underwater?
No, so this is like deck 10 or 11. So you're
Okay, so
you're
you can
up
see the
pretty
water
high.
outside,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
not under
Yeah,
the,
it
you're
wouldn't
not
get into the
underwater.
boat,
Okay.
I don't think, unless it was raining or storming or something.
Okay. Jeez Louise.
But
For some
yeah,
reason, this whole time I was picturing like
really
underwater.
bad. The food was all right. I would say it's like hometown buffet. It felt like buffet food, whereas sometimes Disney buffets are just like, oh wow, this is better than a normal buffet. So
Right.
we're spoiled with Disney cruise. Um, they kept one show that was Royal Caribbean. The rest of the show nights were all put on by the group, but they did keep one show. It was tacky. It was so bad. It was like something you'd get for free at like a Phoenix, Arizona casino.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm like, what? I'm glad we're not here for the full Royal Caribbean itinerary because the other stuff was amazing. So I would say 4 out of 5 for the actual Vakaya cruise.
Okay.
Meaning, if you're someone out there and you're either an ally or part of the community, or maybe you just want to go have a cruise somewhere where it just feels more like summer camp because it is very
Oh, I
campy.
love a good summer
You've
camp
got
vibe.
drag queens, you have a lot of jokes, and here's the best part, because it was a full charter, fully adults only.
Beautiful.
Yep.
It's a
And
beautiful
you can only
thing.
get that, I think, on Virgin is the only one that offers that without a charter. So yeah, those are reasons enough, I think. And then if you throw in the parties they had, so every afternoon and every night there was a party. There would be like a pool party during the day, which I mostly spa'd and napped during, by the way. So you can do whatever you want, build your own itinerary. But I sure did show up for the theme parties at nighttime. Some of them were like inside the main hall, but most of them were out on the deck. And that's my favorite thing is being on the deck at night. You see the stars and the moon, and it's so windy. And which to me is comfortable. I like the wind, especially if you're like sweating. So imagine
Oh
now
yeah.
layering on that a dance party, drag queens, DJ, lights, and then a theme on top of it. So everyone goes
Okay.
crazy on this cruise with the themes. I had just my one carry-on suitcase, and I saw people showing up with three, four suitcases because,
Oh, they were prepared.
yeah,
They've been here before.
exactly. They're called the Cayennes, and they really love their brand loyalty. They love talking about it and trying to get you to go on the next one. But yeah, they went all out. So there was a Mardi Gras themed party. There was a 1980s themed party. There was a vampire themed party, which was called Red Beans and Anne Rice theme. Love that
That's
pun.
great.
There was a MTV Beach House with downtown Julie Brown, who actually was there DJing. Thank you very
Stop
much.
it.
And she looks
That would
exactly
have
the
been the
same.
highlight.
Right?
What the
She was
heck?
so pretty. I was like, girl, what are you doing with yourself? She looked really much exactly the same. I forgot she was British. She had an accent. Like, and here's the funny part about, not funny, but just unexpected part about this particular type of cruise is they do have a lot of celebrity entertainers. So they had Bianca Del Rio. She was the headliner of Drag Race. She's one of my favorite Drag Race contestants. And they had Cheyenne Jackson, who's like a famous actor and Broadway star, also openly gay, has a husband and kids. And so they go on the main stage, like at Disney, that Broadway stage. They have the main stage, and then they have other performers who do different spots, like the loungers and things, who are also very good. But you get to just hang out with them. Like Cheyenne Jackson was at the bar with us most of the nights. Like I would see him there. I was too shy to say anything. He's like 6'5" and gorgeous. He's very like Disney Prince like. Um, Downtown Julie Brown, my cousin, like chatted it up with her, took a picture with her. Like she'll just
Oh
be there
my
at the pool, even
gosh.
if it's not her
So
set.
cool.
And then Jennifer Holliday was there. So Jennifer Holliday is a Broadway legend, Tony Award winner. She originated the role of Effie in Dreamgirls on Broadway, which later on went to an Oscar for Jennifer Hudson when the movie was adapted. Um,
Mm.
and it was cool because the demographic on this ship, I would say, skewed 50s, 60s. So I'm in my 40s. I did feel a little young compared to
That's
this.
also a great
Isn't
feeling.
it? Oh my gosh. I felt, yeah, it was really good having some of these older gentlemen giving me the eye and all that.
I wonder if
Um,
they've probably been the people following this Vikaya thing forever
they
then.
must be. Some people were getting like their 15th cruise anniversary
Oh my
necklace or whatever.
gosh.
Yeah.
Wild.
So it was really fun just talking to like the elder gays, as I call them. Um, and because there was something for everybody, like for us Zennials, like the 80s party and Downtown Julie Brown, like my cousin and I our heads were exploding. We're like, this is amazing. And then for like the elder gays, they love the Broadway stuff. So Jennifer Holliday was just mind blowing to them that they got to see her perform live. And then you can see her literally at the buffet. I saw her twice.
That's so
And
cool.
at this is something they only did on this charter cruise, so I guess they had to pay extra for it. Between 10 and 2 a.m., late night snack, half the buffet was open. So perfect, especially with all the
Okay.
drinking going on, the
That's
partying.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
I thought that was so perfect. And that's when I'd always see her. So I'm like, "Ooh, she's a night owl too, Miss Jennifer
I love
Holliday."
her. Yeah.
Yep. There was another really famous drag queen in the UK from RuPaul's, which she was called Lavoie. She was so good. I would say she was my favorite out of the drag queens, because you have someone like Bianca Del Rio. So if we have any drag race fans out there that listen, Bianca, we know her as being an insult comic. She's kind of like the Joan Rivers style. She's like yelling and talking crap about everybody, but also self-deprecating as well.
Right.
Whereas Lavoie, she's like very classic drag, beautiful. She talks so
She's a
daintily,
pageant.
pageant, and all her jokes they're still so good, but they're not mean to anybody. Sort of like we were saying earlier with Conan O'Brien hosting the Oscars.
Right.
So she was really cool. And then there was two things that I think you would think are really funny. The very last party was called Hot Mess themed, and you just put everything together that you still have from the week.
That's cute. Okay.
So there's like Mardi Gras beads, like 80s shorts, vampire teeth, MTV short sleeve. Like it was just a mess. And I thought that was funny because instead of having one more thing to pack for, you just find what you have.
That is cute.
And I noticed most people, including myself, left a lot of it on the ship as throwaway, particularly like the stuff you would buy from Amazon that were like one-time use. But then there are
Right.
people who had actually I borrowed from somebody these sequined shorts for one of the theme parties. It was actually
Excuse
called the
me.
Brilliance Party. It was all like
Who did you borrow these shorts from?
my
Sequin
cousin, my
shorts.
guy cousin. He brought two. He brought gold and sequin. So he's a shout out to Jeff. I don't think he listens, but he is a veteran Vikayak cruiser. So he
Oh, he's
really
one of
looked
them.
out
Okay.
for me and my other cousin who was our first time. He had so many backups in his suitcase that we were able to then wear, including those shorts
Hilarious.
and a lot of like accessories, especially for like the Mardi Gras thing. Which reminds me of like when it's you and I taking people on Disney, we're like, we're gonna make sure that you have the
Yeah.
Disney experience,
Like
even if you
here,
didn't know what to prepare for.
this is what to pack and how to
What's a
pack
pack?
it, and let me take it for you.
Yep. So they had the hot mess night, and I had plenty of stuff to put together there. And then they had this grand finale, which was called That's All, Folks. And
Aw.
it was put on by Vakaya, not Royal. So it was the very last time that everybody got together on the big main stage. And they brought all the headliners back out for like short tidbits. And then Bianca Del Rio would sit with them like they had like a couch set up and talk to them. And so it was just like real conversational. Sometimes it would be about themselves, their journey, or maybe just their experience on this particular cruise. So it was a nice way to see all these entertainers a little bit more personally and then just say
Hmm.
goodbye to them all at once. And I thought, wow,
Right.
really nice
That is super
touch.
cool.
So smart. And they even brought back like the comedians that only did maybe one stand-up show in the bar. So everybody got a spotlight, even if you weren't like a headliner. So that was really nice. And it felt Disney-ish. There was something about the way the format was where I was like, oh, like a little dash of pixie dust in that last one. And it did change my score from like a 3 to a 4 because it was a really nice way to tie it all together. Um,
Very cool.
what else did I want to tell you? Oh, so talking about the things that I missed because it was not a Disney cruise, and then there were a couple things I thought, oh, maybe Disney Cruise Line could borrow this from Vakaya or from
Okay.
Royal. So one of the things I missed, surprisingly, they did not have a lot of trivia and there were no adult game shows.
What would I do on this cruise?
You'd think that you have all these funny drag queens and entertainers and
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
All
So they
adults.
didn't do any like snatch game or anything like that at all?
No, no.
Whoa. Yeah, that is weird.
Shook. I'm shook. And I thought for sure they would do a version of the Disney one where they do the couples on stage, that newlywed game. Like that's just
Right.
so easy to do. I thought for sure they would do it, and they didn't do it. So I was confused by that. And then, yeah, there wasn't any trivia. Like there could have even been fun trivia that was written for this group, like
Now,
disco stars or gay pride. So I don't know. There could have been fun trivia.
Broadway.
Broadway,
Um,
uh-huh, uh-huh. Name that
now
tune. Didn't have
you've
it.
been on other cruises, non-Disney. Did those have a lot of those types of things?
Yeah, so when I
Yeah,
did go
okay.
on a better Royal Caribbean ship on just the regular Royal Caribbean itinerary, there was Star Wars trivia, there was 90s pop music trivia. I remember playing
Okay,
that.
so just for some reason they didn't.
Yeah, like this
Maybe
charter
maybe
took
they know their
everything out.
demographic and they just don't want to do that.
It could be. And I wonder too if Disney feels like they need to do that to maybe give something extra special for us adults after 10 o'clock at night on the Disney ship. Like we have that game show for us. But I
Yeah.
missed it. It's like one of my favorite things. So I was like, okay, I'm surprised
Aw.
they don't have it on an all-adult ship. Um, the other thing that I noticed was everybody was just getting so annoyed with me because I would compare everything to Disney. I'd be like, well, Disney would do it this way. And if someone would ask
Yeah,
me
well,
like,
that's the norm. Get used
right?
to it.
And if you're going to ask me a question, I don't know anything about Royal Caribbean enough. So all I could say was, well, this is how it would be done on a Disney ship. I don't know where we're supposed to go, but this is where we would normally go. And sometimes it was right, and sometimes it was completely different. So there was that, like where to tender and where to get off. And you and I both went to Grand Cayman when we were on Disney Fantasy, and it was actually different. So remember how we took a little boat to get to the island? This
Yeah.
one was such a Hasselhoff. Not only did you have to take a boat, but you had to like get to the lobby early at 7 a.m. to claim a ticket to get on that boat, which doesn't leave until like 10 o'clock,
Oh,
right?
no. Yeah.
I was like,
Guess I'm not getting
absolutely
off the
not.
boat.
I did not get off the boat at all that day. Um, Another thing that I miss was characters. So my cousins are actually Disney people too. So the one cousin, Marissa, shout out, that I was rooming with, we were both doing the Disney thing together, like looking for Disney stuff. And like you would turn a corner and I'd be like, oh, there's no character there. It took like, I want to say honestly, 2 or 3 days before I stopped thinking I was going to run into a character.
That's hilarious. And how long was the cruise? Seven?
7 nights.
7 days?
Yeah.
7 nights.
And I'm like, oh, there's none. And then even like when we walked in, I'm like, oh, you're not gonna announce my name? And the Mickey Mouse isn't saying hi. Like, what is going on? And yeah, I miss that. And to me, these are the things, these are the reasons why, for better or worse, Disney cruises cost like double the price as these kind of
Right.
cruises. But hey, it's worth it. I would have even settled for like a Bugs Bunny, a DreamWorks, a Woody Woodpecker. I just wanted like a character to hug, and there was nothing, and it felt missing.
Or
Something felt
like the
missing.
drag queens or like some kind of star celebrity meet and greets
True.
like they do at Comic Cons, you know what I mean?
Yes, like give me a cue to stand in and a photo pass
Yeah.
photographer, and then I'll feel like it's a full experience. Instead, they were just like, "Hey, I'm at the buffet," which is even weirder because I don't want to bother them.
Right, right.
A lot of people were very confident and would go up to these celebrities. I was pretty nervous for the most part to do it,
I would
and I
be
didn't want to
too.
bother them. Um, Themed bars. Okay, this is another thing Disney does great, which is weird because it's for adults. And
Hmm.
I was on an adults only charter on a Royal Caribbean ship, and the bars were just, it was, there was like one pub, and then just all the rest of the bars just looked regular, like something you'd see at like a Lake Tahoe casino or something. Um, so I was pretty disappointed there and thought, okay, why don't they bring that over? I'm missing the Disney themed bars. Also, the dining, main dining themes that Disney has, one of a kind. Like you'll never get that anywhere. Here, it just feels like you're going to a regular like wedding banquet. To
Hmm.
the point that between not having decor or a theme and the food just being all right, we skipped it almost every night and
Oh
just yeah,
shoot.
and we
And
would
just
just
went
do
to
the
Cabanas
buffet. Went to
or
Cabana or
Space Jammers. What
Windjammer,
was it called?
Space Jammers, Windjammer. We would just do that instead,
Windjammer.
or just eat throughout the day or whatever. The only times we did dining, maybe twice, was when we just wanted to get the group together at the same time.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I was definitely missing that. And the biggest cock tease of all cock teases was when we were in, I think, Cozumel, and I saw in the distance, a couple ports over, I saw the beauty of a ship. I saw the dark blue slash black that we learned, white and
Monica
gold,
Blue.
Monica blue, and then the red things at the top of the steamers. And I said, "Oh my God, there's a Disney cruise ship over there." I was getting really jealous, and then I started looking it up, like which one is here right now. And from the distance, it looked small, so I was guessing like Magic or Wonder. It turned out it was the Disney Treasure. OMG. So I was taking as many zoom ins as I
It was
could
there just to rub it in.
just to rub it in. I thought, oh, those people over there are having so much fun. And here we are, freaking Cozumel for like the second time. It went there twice because for some reason
Oh
we
no.
couldn't dock in the other location, which was another place in
Okay, at least they have a
Mexico.
reason.
Yeah, so they're like, "Oh, we're going back to Cozumel today." So back there, and then I kind of forgot about it. We did go off the ship there. Needed to hit up the pharmacy and some other places, Starbucks, like nothing actually local because you've seen the port. It's very Vegas, artificial Mexico
Yeah.
type of thing. Senior Frogs, Hard Rock Cafe, all that stuff. But we did go and take a walk. Got back on the ship, And then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna hang out in our balcony, on our balcony in the room for a while. And for when the ship started sailing. And then I look up and out the balcony, and right next to us, now very, very close to us, sailing side by side with the Disney treasure. Oh,
Did it
that's just,
play its horn?
I don't think it did. I would have just probably cried or tried to
When you wish
swim to
upon
it.
a cruise.
It was so close and so beautiful. And it just validated all my thoughts about the Royal Caribbean because it was, granted, it is new, fine, but it was just sparkling and perfect and amazing. And I remember when you and I were even on the Fantasy, which is an older ship, we would see them repainting everything at night. Even during the day, they would be doing touch-ups on the banisters or the red of the slide. Like everything was perfect, right? It's like impeccable quality. And the thing I just remembered right now was one of the drag queens, she did a really good bit about Brilliance of the Seas. And I think it was the UK one. She was like, there's nothing brilliant about the ship. Why are we calling it that? She goes, and she also said, I'm not talking about the wonderful talent on stage and the cat, and the staff. She goes, not that. I'm talking about the ship. So she's being really sweet, but she's like, there's nothing brilliant about it. And she goes, what's with the blue crucifixes that keep showing up at the windjammer windows? And I was like, oh my God, I guess I'm the only one who
What?
noticed it. So the blue tape X's. She took it to an even darker place, and the crowd went wild because I really did think maybe it was just me and my cousin that were being overly
Oh my God, probably everybody in the whole
observational.
audience felt the same moment.
Yes. I'm like, oh man. And then she went in on the carpets and the wallpaper. Oh, so funny. So if
Tearing the ship
anything,
apart.
uh Roy Vacaya Cruise was great, but Royal Caribbean to me was just an advertisement for you and I to go on the Disney Treasure as soon as possible. And there you have
Soon
it.
as possible. I was just thinking in my head, I was like, all right, Mike, don't book on a holiday and do towards the end of the year and just I'll go whenever. I'll match the dates as long as it's not on
Ooh.
a holiday because
Okay.
I
All
have
right.
plans to go back home. But I
I'm
need some
gonna
time.
I'm gonna
I need
look
some
it up.
time.
I'll talk to our person and see what's going on.
Oh yeah, get those credits. Those
Yeah. I did get other people excited about it. Other people in the group who either were mildly or very much a Disney fan. When I started talking about the themed bars, especially people who've never been on a Disney cruise, I was like, yeah. I was like, there's a haunted mansion bar on that ship that just passed us. They're like,
you know
what?
what?
Like, yeah,
So
and we
this
have
is
this one here,
also, you
champagne
had
bar.
talked before about if anybody wanted to join us
Oh
on the same cruise.
yeah.
This would be the time. So if anybody still wants to join us, now's the
Yeah.
time to start those conversations. Let's get it going. That'd be heck of fun.
Let's do it.
Let's have a
Well,
Disney Holics takeover on the Disney
oh, that would be
Treasure.
so fun. So that was my adventure at sea on a non-Disney cruise, and I know you have some adventures to tell us about soon.
I do, yes. Well, in the meantime, thank you all for listening, and we hope you enjoyed episode 230 of the Disney Holics Show.
Follow us on social media at the Disneyholics.
And if you'd like to get in touch, send us a DM on Instagram or contact us at thedisneyholics.com.
Okay,
Okay,
bye.
bye.